Hey guys, what's up? It's Finley. As you can see, I've cut my hair. Um, this is like the third time I think that I've shaved my head. I did it once to honor my mom, who has battled and beaten cancer twice, and I did it another time when I was in a state of complete emotional duress. So that was kind of embarrassing and totally a Britney Spears, but I don't care. And then this time was because A, I needed a haircut, and B, I needed to feel like, I think sometimes as a trans person, I need to feel like my body is my own, and I need reminders that someday I will eventually be able to alter it to reflect how I feel about myself and who I am. So a recent interaction that I'm actually going to talk about in a few seconds inspired me to shave my head. But it was also for practicality purposes. I really needed a haircut. My hair was too long and I can't afford it right now. So I borrowed some clippers from a friend and did it myself. Luckily, my girlfriend really likes it, and most of my friends do, but that's definitely not why I did it. So the day before yesterday, I went to work at the funeral home, and I did my thing. I answered phones. I did a couple other things. And then we all had lunch, and my boss was acting kind of weird. And I just figured that he was tired. But out of nowhere, he says to me, look, there's something I kind of need to talk to you about. And I've been meaning to tell you for a really long time now. And I just wasn't sure how to say it. And it's nothing personal. And in my head, I'm like, oh shit, he's going to talk about the suits and ties and how I dress for work and totally make me compromise my masculinity. And it's going to be awful. So I was ready for like complete and utter gender domination by my boss, and I was not happy about it. So I listened to what he had to say, and he made it make a lot of sense to me. He said, you know, people keep coming back to me for a reason. Like, I always dress up for funerals, and it's like, you know, being on the stage and all this stuff that I've heard a million times before. And I nodded and said, I won't wear suits and ties. That's a sacrifice that I'm willing to make for my job. And I said that, and I also said, but by that same token, I refuse to be overtly feminine. I'm not going to do it. And he respects me enough as a person, and we've had conversations about my gender expression, and I know that he understands, but this is business, you know, it's not personal. So I understood what he was saying. And as someone who really cares about serving my community, I am willing to make an adjustment. And I spent all day yesterday journaling and thinking about this, and you know, it's really not, I don't feel like I'm compromising. I don't feel like part of myself has been compromised. And I don't feel like I'm having to give anything up necessarily. But as I said, you know, he came from a place of business, and he's helping me out, and I'm doing this apprenticeship and I'm helping him out. So there has to be room for both of us to convey what we need to each other. And so that was what that conversation was. And after that conversation took place, yes, I did feel marginalized, and I felt compromised and disrespected. But my boss isn't coming from a place of ignorance or hate or none of that. It's not about It's not about that. He just wants me to be safe because this is a small town and it's conservative for the most part. Um, and I understand that and I appreciate that and I respect that he's looking out for me in that way. And the only reason why I took it from him is because A, he's my boss and I kind of have to, but B, because he's coming from a similar position. Being a Hispanic American man, he is a Mexican immigrant and speaks with a very thick accent and communicates in Spanish to the other two men who are also Mexican immigrants who work at the funeral home. And I am actually, aside from the gentleman who occasionally comes in to do pre-need arrangements for us, I am the only Caucasian who is there on a regular basis. So he told me that he's had people come into the office and demand for his papers and like all kinds of ridiculous discriminatory bullshit that has gone on. And so, and we've had conversations about that too. Like both of us have definitely talked about being treated differently because of the way we look. And that is why I was able to get where he was coming from a little bit more. And I felt like he was sympathizing with me and empathizing with me, but also he was asserting himself as my direct supervisor. So I really felt like he was looking out for me. Like he wasn't being critical. He was just straight up saying, this cannot affect business and you can do whatever you want to on your own time, but don't wear ties to work. And I was like, fine, but I'm not wearing heels, I'm not wearing a dress, and I'm not wearing makeup. And he was like, okay. And I said, you know, there's only so much that I can do with what I was born with. And I refuse to compromise my totality. I'm willing to make adjustments, and I've said that many times in this video already, but I'm willing to compromise, but I'm not willing to feel compromised. So, and I don't. But I've talked to a lot of my other trans friends, and they're like, dude, I wouldn't be able to do that, you know? And I respect that. I don't feel like less of a man because I've given up wearing suit jackets and ties. Feminine clothing really makes me dysphoric. And I think that can be evidenced in my previous videos about Turandot and having to don female attire for an onstage role. But Jose also knows my background as an opera singer, and so he was willing to put it into terms that I could understand. I guess now all of you know his name. But he was willing to make it palatable for me, and I really appreciated that. He was really sensitive about it, and he approached it in a very respectful way. And that, coupled with the fact that I know that he's dealing with the same thing and that it's all about business and it's not personal, that made me okay with what he was saying. So I guess I feel like as trans people, sometimes for the greater good, we will be asked to make compromises. And that sucks. It fucking sucks to have to compromise something that you work so hard to attain and maintain every single day. But, and it's hard because you shouldn't have to. You should not have to be policed like that. But you know what? God damn it. Sometimes you just have to shut up and do your job. And it stops being about gender and it starts being about professionalism. And I am willing to make some adjustments. And I think a lot of trans people would argue that I'm giving in and caving to being gendered and being misgendered, and that I'm less of a man because I didn't put up a fight. But fuck you, that's not true. I just want to keep my fucking job. So I don't really care if that makes me less of a martyr for the cause. I'm going to do what I feel like I need to do. And if it's not comfortable to me, then I feel completely comfortable telling Jose that. And that's fine. But I just wanted to touch on how I felt about that. And also, GLB or T, I still bury these people, so who the fuck cares at the end of the day what I look like? You know, you don't have a stake in being homophobic or transphobic when you're dead. So as long as I'm professional and I do my job, I don't really see how my gender should affect what I do. But I understand in a small town. And it's not going to be like this forever, you know? Like, I'm doing an apprenticeship that lasts a year. So I'm not, you know, this isn't an adjustment that is going to have to be around forever. So there you go. In other non-trans related news, my 1-year anniversary with my partner is coming up. I have yet to decide what I want to do, but I kind of want it to be a big deal because I love her and she's pretty awesome. But that depends on my situation, where I am. But hopefully I'm able to do something really cool. We actually had like, oh fuck, 11:40. I might have to make 2 videos. We had a great date day, my partner and I, so that's nice. Family. I'm reading off of notes again because I find that my videos are much more organized when I do. One of my Christian conservative cousins sent me a message and said, you know, I really want to honor this transition, and I want to call you by the name that you prefer, by the pronouns that you prefer. And I was like, sweet, here's what I want. And she was all about it, which made me a little less freaked out about coming out to my more conservative friends. So that was a really awesome thing, and I'm really happy about that. Probably going to make another video about top surgery and gender therapy thoughts at a later date, but for right now, that's what's going on. Hope y'all like the new do, and I will chat at you a little later. Bye.